Dr. Owusu Ochoa. It's Dr. O for the 804. As the premier knee and hip shoulder sports surgeon in Virginia, I would like to remind you that health equals power. Sports build and uplift communities, nothing else can. The mission of sports medicine is to keep athletes of all ages and levels at the top of their game. Dr. O is located at Ortho, Virginia, Schrader Road office location. Appointments can be scheduled online at orthovirginia.com or by calling 804-939-6688. You can follow Dr. O on Instagram at Dr. O _ for the 804 and uplifting educational content about sports health.
Hi everyone, I'm Coach Rick Stockel. I am co-owner of Newman & Dunn Real Estate here in Central Virginia, as well as I am a high school boys basketball coach at Monacan High School. I've sold over 1,300 homes here in Central Virginia, and I would love to work with you and your family in your home buying needs. I am a proud primary sponsor of Ballin' in Virginia, and I hope you enjoy this show.
Welcome to another episode of BallinVA. Today is Saturday, February 28th. And today, man, you know, it's a long time coming here, man. I got this brother. We've been talking for a good little while, man, but we finally able to connect. Our schedule was able to work out today, man. I got my man, Big Rio, as everybody call him, man. You know, Mario Haskett Sr., his son Mason of Mario Foundation and Gifted by Demand Productions. What's up, fellas?
How you doing? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well, man. Busy as always, and I know you've been a busy man. You know, I thank y'all for coming in here today.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, you know, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man, and I know that you got your hands on a little bit of everything and kind of do, and we need this, man. So right. We want to get some of this stuff out here, man. So we're going to start right now. I know you started. It had to start somewhere, as I always say is. So where did it all start?
Basically, you know, Rafer had a vision.
Okay.
You know, we was at Team Richmond, and then Lil Mario and Pinky, we stayed in the same community at the time, and Pinky wanted Lil Mario to play with him, because, you know, Pinky would always come to the house and they would play. It's kind of ironic, because when they first met, they was born the same day, same year, same age.
They talked about that. I remember.
So it was ironic, and we at the time, you know, we just was, you know, just doing what we do as parents, you know, supporting the kids and making sure they got a great opportunity. So when the time presented itself, Rayful wanted to start, you know, his own AAU organization. I said, well, okay, you know, let's do it, you know. And basically coming from the 757 area, you know, Boo, you know, grew up with the Boo formula, understanding how the AAU thing is supposed to do, seeing Metro, Squires. I came up during that time. So it was a great time to come up. So when I got here, graduated from college, I was coaching at St. Paul's.
Okay.
All right, so I coached at St. Paul's for 8 years.
Okay. See, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I coached at St. Paul's for 8 years. And I used to take Lil Mario and Pinky to practice.
Oh, wow.
So if you know anything about St. Paul's, you know.
Hey,
you know.
That's throwback right there.
Throwback. And, you know, Coach Joyner, which was my coach in college, so he asked me to come back and help build what we built with me, Mudu, Twan, Marco, Jabbar. I think we was ranked like 14th in the nation at that time. Okay. So Coach Joyner took the job back, hired me and Dante. So I used to take them boys to practice with me. And they had to practice.
Wow, early.
So that's where they really learned the game at.
Okay.
You know, they actually practiced with those college guys. Wow. You know, Shaimar, Rock, Jack Brown. Remember Jack Brown?
Yup, Jack.
All right, Jack Brown.
Jack was on here not too long ago with Highland Springs. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
I saw Jack in the gym at the Y.
Really?
I said, come on, let's go. Took him down to St. Paul, got him in.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. And I did that for a lot of kids around here. And I believe in, you know, homegrown building. 804-757 was St. Paul's probably from the early 90s to the late 2000s.
Yeah, you talking about, what was that, the kid that went to Ferguson? Antoine Smith.
Yeah, I recruited Antoine.
Yeah.
Jermaine McLeish, I recruited Jermaine. So when I was at St. Paul's, Coach Joyner gave me the green light. So I recruited my whole team while I was there.
Dang.
So that whole team, that everybody except for Mudu.
Okay.
I had recruited Marco, but we knew Marco was going to NC State.
Yeah.
So his girlfriend,
and Marco Harrison,
right?
Yeah.
His girlfriend was a cheerleader for us at the time.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So we knew if anything went wrong,
right,
he would circle back, and it actually worked. And that was I think the most successful team in St. Paul's history.
Wow.
Me, Marco Twan, Mudu, my guy, Marlon Lancaster.
Marlon Lancaster, another one. Shout out to shout out to all them guys, man.
Yeah.
You name us some people.
Yeah. So that was when those two youngins started basketball, and then it got to a point where I saw them develop, and I said, "Yo, I got to put more time and effort in them." So then Rayful started River City Rain. At that time, I think it took off. And that's when we brought Coach Hearn in from LC Bird.
Yep.
Coach Mans from LC Bird. A lot of great coaches, man.
Yeah, you had a lot of people over there. It was hot back then.
It was hot.
Because I was with Gene Atkins then.
We was hot,
with Richmond Metro.
Right. And so Ty and Boo was, they were them dudes.
You know it.
So
yeah, 'cause we was under Buster, so
yeah, man, they was them dudes. So
yeah.
It had got to a point where they called me in. Rayful, Coach Hearn said, "Man, we need Reebok." I picked up the phone. I called Bubba. We had Reebok. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, do y'all know who Bubba is?
Yeah.
Right, we gotta go there.
Bubba gave us, man. See, this is what I tell a lot of people.
Okay.
River City Rain's success started with us, but adding Team Iverson, it gave it that attention. And what I mean by that, now you got a name on the back that the boys love and they represent it. And it wasn't even a hesitation. Iverson team, they took care of us. It was like, what y'all need? We need 3 sets of uniforms for each team, 9th, 10th, 11th. I get home from work one day, FedEx truck backed up in there. I said, wow, yeah. So, and this was during the time, he was going through a transitional period.
Okay.
And he called Reebok and he said, "Get Rio what he want." And those were stories that weren't told. So during this time, you got to realize we had Malik White,
George Whiff, yeah.
JJ, Lil Mario group.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it, under that Iverson brand, River City Rain Iverson brand, you had about 30-some kids to get scholarships.
Yeah, you had that's when JJ, it was JJ Matthews, right?
Yeah.
Big JJ.
Yeah, JJ.
With the Fieldwood.
Yeah, JJ, listen, and see those things go unrecognized because it wasn't about the amount of money, it was the support we had. And by Reebok, we were able to put Team Iverson on our back. It gave those kids credibility.
Yes, because y'all was going places
Man.
that we didn't need, man. It was like, I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a lot of, confusion because they didn't know what your connection was. And,
Right.
And it was also some jealousy there, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of jealousy there. I ain't gonna even lie. It was like, and I'm gonna say not on our part because, again, Coach Atkins kind of explained to us, stuff like that. We just wanted to go out and compete,
Right.
man. But you guys had a lot of stuff over there, man. I didn't mean to cut across you, man, but I just want to give y'all that love.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And that's why I said, what we did was for the kids. It was no attention that the adults wanted because we knew the end game was to get as many scholarships for the kids as possible. The only kid that didn't get a scholarship was Lil Mario.
Because he went to Harvard.
He went to Harvard. He was the only kid. So a lot of people use jealousy as a tool to try to, I think for the most part, not understand that this was for the kids. My end game was to get as many scholarships as possible with less money, because most of those kids came out of inner city. You know, most of them kids couldn't afford to even get on a plane and travel. Most of them kids ain't never been out of the state of Virginia.
Bro, talk about it, man. Talk about it.
You know, the parents, when you don't talk about things, sometime in our community, people gonna make their assumption about what it is, but don't know what's going on.
And that's why I had to bring Mario and Pinky in.
Right.
I had like 3 pages of questions, and I know they're grown, right?
Right,
you know?
right.
And Pops, I wish you could have been there that night, but you saw it. You called me afterwards.
Yeah.
And,
Loved it.
And because everybody know, and for me, I've always respected those guys. These guys always respected my son, and you see Pink and Mario, my son, they real close now, you know. But you were. Let me hold on. Let me go back. Let's go to the boys club, the stuff that you on Sundays and on the weekends where you actually were having people come out to the boys club.
Well, at this time, I had went in and
Two as well.
Right, went in and purchased the old Boys and Girls Club off of Harrison.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got it with the intentions of letting the kids come in and have somewhere to go to work out.
Yep.
Never charge.
You didn't.
Never charge. So, you know, and this where it come from, that I want people to understand that this was about giving back to the community and the kids. Because in our community, most of the time it's about $1. I wasn't concerned about that. I was probably in debt more than everybody families put together on the team, but I never showed it because my support was for the kids, you know. And what people failed to realize and didn't understand, that Lil Mario and Pinky ain't had to pay for nothing, because Ty and Boo had already wanted them from the 8th grade up. Ty White, which is my man, a lot of people don't know.
Shout out to Ty.
A lot of people don't know. That's my, throughout this whole AAU, you know, rigmarole, me and Ty was tight. And people don't know it, because we kept it away from people.
Right, because you didn't see it.
Because we knew people had some jealousy tendencies if they knew we were together. So we kept it away from people, but we never envied each other. We never talked negative about each other. And whenever I needed something, I could pick up the phone and call Ty, vice versa. Boo, people don't know that, and a couple of fathers do know, but Boo had already expressed concerns about taking Lil Mario in the 9th grade.
Okay.
But I had, no, he can't go, he got to stay with his team, you know. And a lot of people don't know, his sophomore year, I think we had just beat Boo by 20, had just beat Loaded. Boo called me and said, you and Lil Mario get on the plane. Nike paying for y'all to come to Peach Jam. I said, nah, Boo.
Are you serious?
I said, if you get any other parent would have took it. First thing, smoking.
Damn sure would have.
Loyalty is one of my traits. And I told Boo, I said, why would I separate a team to cause adversity and got the best team that just beat y'all by almost 20, just beat Loaded, and start all that rigmarole with my son? I said, you got to take the whole starting 5. I said, you take Zach, Big John, Lil Mario, Pinky, and Jay Wade, put us all on the plane and we be there. And he said no.
And I heard about that.
He said no. I said, well, we ain't coming.
And I thought it was just a rumor, but I heard about that.
That's true facts.
Okay.
Boo will tell you that, facts. Boo called me. And I said, nah, you got to take that whole 5, Boo. I said, that 5 tough. I said, if you split them up, you ain't going to get the same results. I said, so if you want to make an impact, and that's what I was taught. You know, I mean, every team, everywhere I played, I won. And I built my own team. So I tell people all the time, the formula worked. It's the parents that start to break that cycle, because everybody want their child to be the next Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to get free education for all the kids.
think about all those kids that came in that program. I mean, I'm speaking of, Drake's all offhand. I'm thinking about, and I know I'm being selfish here, talking about that LC Bird Trinity game that night. And you had all those River City Rain kids on that floor. Every kid on there, just about on the team, was pretty much,
that was our same team from AAU, with the exception of Jay Wade.
Yep.
All right. Dilla, I knew we was getting Dilla. Mm-hmm. We was getting Dilla his 10th grade year. Dilla dad, was getting sick, and he called me, said, I need you to take care of my boy. So a lot of people don't know that.
I said, I didn't know.
Dilla dad was sick, and, and he called me. And he said, Rio, man, I can't afford to pay for Dilla to go to school. I need you to take care of him. Mm-hmm. I called Troy and said, look, I'm going to figure it out, but Dilla, this is what we're going to do. And we did everything the right way. We went and got the apartment. Mm-hmm. His dad was on it. Everything was done the right way. And that's what people don't know. See, you got to pay to play.
Bro, y'all got him from Clover Hill, and that was a game changer.
Yeah.
That hurt us that night, too, because he killed us that night.
And you got to remember, Dilla, Jay Wade, Lil Mario,
Zach.
Not Zach. What's the other? Aaron
Duhart.
All them was on the same 7U team, 8U team. So they all started out together. So our families had already had a tight bond.
Zach was with Metro. He was with Jack.
He was with Jack. And, Zach was coming up. We knew Zach was going to develop into a good player. But at that time, Dilla dad called and said, I need you to take care. The only kid that didn't have a scholarship was Dilla that senior year. Nope, I take that back. It was Pinky and Dilla. I had just got Devin Morgan.
Shout out to my boy. Right. Devin, I'm going to get you. Devin, he will see this Big Rio. Yeah. He'll come at me.
Yeah.
He going to come at me. Go ahead and get
You got to get Devin on. Devin going to tell you a story of how I got Devin at Delaware State. So I had knew the coach at Delaware State. We had a great relationship. Devin, I think, was Devin player of the year? Was he player of the year?
Down here?
Yeah.
He was on. No, he didn't make.
But he was first team.
He was first team. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Devin had nowhere to go. I called him. He said, Devin too smart.
He should have been.
I said, listen, man. I said, Devin can play.
He should have been.
He said, nah. Got Devin there. Devin was the MEAC Rookie of the Year. Make a long story short. All right. Made him take Devin. All right. Now you got to remember, Pinky only had one scholarship at the time. That was VMI. All right. Truest story ever.
Hold on, that was what, 15?
2017.
17?
Yeah. Truest story ever, too.
Yeah, because I can't remember. I know that team.
It was 2017.
Y'all let us know who should have been player of the year that year with him on it, because he put on a show that night.
Yeah. So Devin was player, I think, Devin, 2016, Devin.
2016, because it might have been Malik White.
Yeah, that was Malik White and Devin.
Yeah,
all right. So.
And Sherrod.
And man, you got me. You bringing up some.
Yeah, that was.
I'm gonna back up
because I'm thinking about that year.
I'm gonna back up. Mm-hmm. So Malik White somehow got the pit without me knowing, and was on the plane. No, I knew he was going to pit. So Malik flew out the pit. Dennis, and get well soon too, Dennis.
Shout out to my guy Dennis.
Get well soon. Yeah. So I talked to Malik. So I said Malik went to pit, took an official visit. Somehow Malik got there and committed. All right?
Go ahead. I heard about it.
And Dennis called me and he said, Big Rio, man, what? Malik committed. I said, hold on. So I called Malik. I said, as soon as you touch down, decommit. Because I knew they was leaving.
Right.
I knew they was leaving pit.
Okay.
See, because Brevin Knight, was it Brevin Knight? Him or his brother, whoever was
somebody was an assistant coach.
All right. He had called me. And he said, man, we got to have Malik. I said, but you're not going to be there. And this kid right here, we can't make no mistakes with this one. This the golden child of Team Iverson, River City Rain.
Right.
This the golden child. So I got Malik to decommit, and Cooley called me the next day. Mm-hmm. And he said, man, can you get Malik here? I said, he'd be there tomorrow. So Malik That's how Malik got the Providence. Because Cooley had offered him.
Okay.
But Malik had committed to Pitt. I said, nah, you got to decommit. You got to because I knew they was leaving.
Okay.
So me and Coach Hearn knew that they was, the coaches at Pitt, they was leaving. And they left.
Okay.
So I said, Malik, man, you made a good decision, bro. So then, Pinky. So Pinky, Player of the Year was up for Pinky and Lil Mario. Coach Hearn called me and said, Pops, which one you want to get to? I said, Lil Mario got 28 Division I offers. Tell him to get to Pinky. I got to try to land him in school.
Delaware.
Delaware wouldn't take him.
That was, and that's how Devin. Oh, okay. You gonna get
all right.
Okay.
So
okay,
Youngstown.
There we go.
Called me and said we want Devin. So Devin had put his name in the portal. So I knew Devin was leaving because me and Devin dad had already talked about it. And Youngstown flew in, met me at the center.
Okay.
And he said, man, we got to have Devin. And Devin said, oh, gee, I'm gone. I knew Devin was leaving.
Okay.
He hadn't announced it yet.
Okay.
So I knew they had an opening if Devin was leaving.
Right.
So I called the coach, and I said, man, I need you to take Pinky. And he said, no, I said, you said that last year about Devin. Devin was me at Rookie of the Year.
Right.
I said, so now you got to trust me. I said, now this my son. You got to take him. He said, man, Rio, you doing this to me again. But he didn't know Devin was leaving. I did. I said, Devin gone. He said, what? I said, yeah, that was his decision. I said, so now you got to take Pinky. He took Pinky. Pinky got Delaware State, played in every game since he been there.
Yes, he sure did.
Every game since he been there from a freshman. I tell people all the time, some of these coaches, boy, they blind in one eye, can't see out the other one.
It's crazy. And we'll go back to that. We go back to Pinky. Buck was on that 16 too. Buckingham.
Yeah.
So it might have been Buck maybe the Player of the Year, I think.
Yeah, Buck was Player of the Year.
Player of the Year. So no disrespect to Buck. Yeah. So
Buck was Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my guy there.
I said that he should have been, but I thought about it. I said that was Buck.
That group there, and see, this is why I go back to that time. That group there, Malik.
Charge of the old age.
Yeah, boy. Malik. Sherrod. Buckingham. Malik. JJ was in that class.
JJ was in there.
JJ was in that class.
Oh, my God. It was somebody, Petrie. Alex Petrie was on there.
No, Petrie was with Lil Mario, though.
Oh, yeah, he was 17.
Yeah, he was 17.
He was 17.
He was Lil Mario.
17.
But they had, man, boy, that thing was loaded. Ooh,
that's what I'm saying, man.
That loaded.
That cusp right
John
there.
Marshall had them. You got to remember, Willie.
Man, we can sit here, because see, Henrico had it. Like, Henrico had all those boys,
So
man.
we couldn't get over the hump.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You had Tim, Jordan.
What my guy named? Walter.
Walt. Ryan.
Yep.
My boy, I interviewed him.
Boy.
God damn it, I can't think of my boy. Shit. I had him on the podcast. Sorry, man. It was Walt.
Boy, Kenny. Remember Kenny? Kenny was the year before that. Yeah, Kenny. You had. Hold on. Look, my favorite player, Malik Johnson.
Shout out, cuz, man. Shout.
Malik. That was my favorite player. Boy.
You had Gus and them around that time.
Gus. You had Malik. Man. And I'm telling people like they had
Marvin Smith.
Yes, you did. Boy, they had no idea. I said, man. Boy, I said to myself, man, and that's when I saw the shift from really Tidewater to Richmond. Okay. I saw it. That was in 2015.
Yeah.
I saw the shift. It shifted.
Okay.
You know, and the coaches did a great job. Ty White, coach from Henrico, the coach from Varana, Troy,
Andrew Lacey,
the coach from George Wilf,
Coke and them,
man.
Yeah.
So you had some good coaches, and where what I was trying to do with River City Rain Team Iverson, it was to give a selection to kids. You know what I'm saying? Because you had Jordan Cross too. You had Jordan Cross, Big John.
Yep.
So to try to get those kids, because it was a lot of talent. It was a lot of talent.
Man, you talking about that John Marshall,
Yeah.
switch over from Tutu,
Yeah.
and Willie, and then going, well, you got to go back to the Rozelle them, then you go back to the Willie and them.
Bruh.
Then you came to Tim and Jordan. They took
Man, they
over
had a lot of
the player of the
talent.
year, and then you go into with Buck. Then it was like y'all was
Listen.
fighting over that hump. Like
Listen.
y'all was fighting. It's like y'all were battling the East End, man.
Man, and the AAU teams will go out of town, and at least 4 to 5 teams will represent at a time. That's how much talent this was. And I used to tell them, I said, man, listen here, we're gonna need another shoe company in Richmond.
Okay.
That would have, to me, solidified and gave kids more of an opportunity.
Okay.
I thought Under Armour was going to come in and broker a deal.
Okay.
Because that joker was expensive. Now you talking about, 3 credit cards, maxed out 3 credit cards, sold some land.
Man, when you
sold a house.
Yeah, tell it, man, because you brought.
Sold a
I
house.
couldn't believe it.
Yeah, sold a house.
Wow.
And at the time, you couldn't turn back because the teams was must-see TV. Everywhere they went, everybody wanted to see them. So at that time, it was like, we traveling, making sure, and we fed our older group because a lot of the parents didn't have it. So I would make sure that they had their breakfast, lunch, and dinner when they got on the road. And I was providing the vans at that time. So we were pretty much like covering all the essentials and the bases. We had the shoes, we had the uniform set up champ. So we had everything we need. So at that time, it was just making sure in game with scholarships. And I was talking to all the coaches, so I knew what time it was. And a lot of people was jealous of Lil Mario, but I already knew it was Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. It was already set in my mind. He didn't know, but I knew.
We thought, because we seen you talking to the Virginia Tech coach a lot.
Yeah. Me and Buzz tight.
Yeah, we thought.
Me and Buzz tight. And like I say, Buzz was one of the realest coaches that I ever met, and still is.
Okay.
One of the realest, other than my man Tom,
Yeah.
So that was it, and like I tell a lot of people, man, it wasn't about basketball. I had already saw what sports did to a lot of my closest friends.
Okay.
Michael Vick, same high school.
Yep.
All right. Iverson, I had already seen it. So to me, we had a good idea because Iverson documentary before this one had came out in Philly.
Okay.
And they had called me for Lil Mario to come to the documentary.
I remember.
Because that was Team Iverson. And so I called L.C. Bird, got him out of school. We drove up. The crazy part about it, when he got there, Bubba took him in and they left me outside. So his team had to come get me and bring me inside. So I was like, baby, hold on, man. But it was great for him because he got an opportunity. He sat with Bubba and his mama, throughout the viewing of the film. And after that, him and Bubba sat down, and Bubba told him, I want you to go to Harvard. I want you to chase your education. And that's when we decided it was going to be Harvard, Yale, or Princeton.
Okay.
Once we found out, because Yale was the ticket too. So
I remember Zach Jacobs was on that.
Yeah. Because I was trying to get Zach and Lil Mario to go to Yale, but they only had one spot.
He told us.
He only had one spot. And I said, where? And Tommy said, nah, he coming here. And a lot of people don't know, we didn't take no official visits his senior year. None.
Really?
He had five official visits, paid for everything. Tommy called me Greg Jackson. My man Greg went to St. Paul's. So Greg and Tommy tight. So Greg called me and said, yo, what you doing? I said, man, it's snowing outside. He said, can you get on the road? I need y'all to go to Harvard.
Okay.
I said, huh? He said, call Tommy. So I called Tommy. And he was like, yeah, can y'all get on the road? I was like, yeah, we'll get on the road. So we got the van packed. He was an infant. He was probably going on 6, 7 months. Got on the road. We committed to Harvard that day.
Wow.
Yeah, we committed. So I had already had a good understanding because, I wanted him to get, Lil Mario's smart, man. Listen.
Man, I think he got out there, 3 years, didn't it?
Man, listen. No, he finished because, his setback was 2019 when 2020, we had a decision we had to make. Cause see, we was paying for that. We was paying I think it was like $78,000 a year. So we were paying for that. In junior year, COVID hit.
That's right.
All right. Yeah. So Ivy League didn't give you an extension. You can't get that extension. You got 4 and you got to go. So he had 1 more year at Harvard. And me and Tommy, we talked about it. So he had to sit out that whole year.
Oh.
So all he did was went to school, finish it. We had to make a decision, either get this education or transfer, where he would have had 2 more years. I chose that Harvard education, bro.
Ain't nothing like it.
He told me.
That's for kids that look like us.
Hey, man. I told him, I said, look, this opportunity you about to get in life, I said, man, we can't even afford to mess that up. I said, so we're gonna ride this one out. And I knew it was gonna hurt him. I knew his transition to go and play ball again after sitting out a year. I knew it was gonna hurt him. I'm a top athlete. Football, basketball. You could have put either one of them in my hand. So I knew what time it was, and I said, man, this year gonna hurt him. And it hurt him to a point where he didn't understand what I was doing. But once I knew Pinky was gonna graduate, my deal was to get both of them their masters for free. So I brokered the deal with Lil Buck to take. He wanted Lil Mario, and he didn't have no room for Pinky. I said, well, you can't get Spike if you don't take Pinky.
Boy.
So he took them both. And now they both got their masters. And I tell them, look back on them now.
They went to Hampton, right?
Yeah, both of them went to Hampton. Yeah. And I knew Pinky was kind of like, it was coming to an end for him because, he had already said, basketball ain't gonna make or break me. I'm gonna use this as a tool, as a platform, for my career. And that's what he did, So my end game was making sure all the kids had scholarship.
And you did. And I wanted to point out, before we go elsewhere too, and even back to what we was talking about, the kid for Patriot, Tay Barber. I saw you talking to their parents.
Who?
Tay Barber. He plays for Patriot. I'm not Patriot.
He played for Harvard.
Patriot. Played for Harvard.
Yeah. So Tommy called me.
Yeah.
Tommy called me and said, I need you to get to VCU. And I was like, for what? We got a kid from North Virginia. Got to get him.
Yeah.
So me and my family went up there, met him and his family, and I told him. I said, man, listen here. Listen. I had withdrawals when we left Harvard, man. Man, I love that school, bro.
Wow.
I love it. Them people treated, they treated, Lil Mario was the first kid that Harvard recruited with visible tattoos. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay. So, make a long story short, Harvard was going through a transformation.
Okay.
And Tommy told me, he said, Lil Mario had cornrows.
Yep.
He had visible tattoos. And he was the only kid with visible tattoos that they ever recruited because they was going through a transition of the new millennium. So Tommy told the family, I got him. And that was it. So when we first got to Harvard, we met a black pastor,
okay,
a black attorney,
okay,
and a black coach.
Okay.
I said, I'm in. We win. That was it. Because he had everything set up to make sure that he was going to win. And he did. And we didn't miss a game. I was at every game. Only game I ain't go to was in Canada because the government wouldn't let me leave. They told me, too many taxes. They said, you can't go. I said, well, this is going to be the only one I missed, champ.
He's going to be all right.
Yeah.
He going to be all right.
Yeah, he made it. He made it. He was the only kid at Harvard that played in every game since he been there.
And that's the thing, man. You know, we can touch on so much stuff. Like I said, during that time, man, it was just like, people were just like, you know, Rio here, and you was always involved, and everybody saw you. And I've never heard anybody say anything bad about you. You was always promoting the kids that you had, and then incorporating others. It's like, hey, man, we working up out of here. I was like, man, you charge. You was like free of charge. Big McPhail. Yeah. So I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? It was too good to be true, but I was like, I didn't know you like that. So he was like, nah, man, this what he do. This what he do, man.
Yeah, it was everything we did was basically to build those kids and give them an opportunity that we know, other than giving it to them, they wouldn't have gotten. You know, and like I say, you know, all of the parents, I tell people to this day, all the River City Reign parents, all of them parents, they put a lot into parenting some of the kids that weren't even their kids. Mama Ashby, granddaddy Ashby.
Oh yeah, shout out to Mr. Ashby.
Man, what the kid? They were so respected by the kids. It was crazy.
That's how I met her. She was like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Who is this lady, man?" We was down Hampton.
Man, listen,
Jeter them.
You don't get it now. You don't. And like I tell people, like, you know, we knew the end game, and all of them parents put them kids first. All of the parents.
And we didn't, and because of our community, we won't use it. It was like, what's the catch?
Yeah, it won't no catch. Our community was like, but you got to remember, where I'm from Bradfield Apartment. They call me Little Bradfield.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one from that community, if I'm not mistaken, in the 90s that went to college.
Newport News.
Yep. Dead, locked up, turned to the streets. I might be the only one. So the formula was understanding that in order to make it, you got to be given a good opportunity. And we didn't have a lot. So I knew what time it was. You got to remember, when I went to St. Paul's, I was one of the top quarterbacks. I wasn't supposed to go play basketball. I was supposed to go play football.
Okay.
But things led to St. Paul's. And when Coach Bradley found out I was at home, he came and got me.
Wow.
Coach Bradley got in his car, came and got me, took me to St. Paul. I was leaving St. Paul's to go to Hampton. Coach Joyner came and told me, no, program yours. Go get what you want.
Wow.
So me building, I mean, I got all the kids from 757, 804 at St. Paul. You look at every kid that comes from 757 and 804 from 91, 92 up until probably St. Paul's closed, that's me.
Wow.
And then if I played against you, hey, iron sharp nine, come on, let's go. You can play, let's go.
But you think about all the ballers that came out of St. Paul's. I mean, you got my boy Bubblegum and them.
Bubblegum was with me.
Bubblegum was what I'm saying.
Bubblegum was with me.
Hey, Marlon
was with me.
My boy Big Tree.
Yeah, Tree.
Big Tree.
Melvin Jones.
Yeah, Melvin Jones.
Yeah, Melvin Jones.
All of my guys, man.
Yeah. So I tell a lot of people, man, like, you know, we knew what it take for these kids to have an opportunity. Because we knew the streets was coming. We knew the streets was coming. So knowing that these kids' only way out is to be given this opportunity,
right?
Man, it won't no catch. It won't about no money, because Lord knows, them credit cards, they boy, and my family was very supportive. Like, you know, real talk. Like, you know, my aunt went in her bag, and, you know, my aunt worked 2 jobs. And she paid for a semester for my son to go to Harvard. So it all wasn't just me. I hit some road bumps and speed bumps and all that, and family came in and helped and assist. You know, yeah.
But that's why you get so much love from everybody, man. When you see ain't nobody. I mean, people were not. When I say jealousy, they weren't jealous like it was like a hate thing.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it won't like that.
It was like, man, what is he doing, and how can we do it?
You walk around here, you showing everybody love, and like bringing kids, and just like I ain't never see you like thought of your way being disrespectful to anybody.
Nope.
It was just like, man, you were just showing love, and at the end, you was like, now what y'all gonna say when y'all won?
Yeah.
Now what y'all gonna say? Here's the end game.
That's the end game.
Here we go.
End game.
What y'all gonna say now?
Yeah. But see, Ty White called it. Ty White said that, this was his plan the whole time. And see, one thing Troy did was, I allowed Troy to coach. Troy allowed me to work with the kids and handle the kids, make sure, we had what we needed.
Y'all had a mob.
Yeah, we had what we needed.
Y'all had a mob.
Yeah, and so it's the right. See, and I tell a lot of people, like, the formula is there. You got to stick with it. Mm-hmm. And like I tell a lot of parents, you got to get out the way, because now, oh man, boy, it's rough now. It's rough, and saw it coming. I told them in 2017 I got to go, because it's getting expensive.
Yeah.
This is getting expensive.
And to me, that was like the last really good year.
Yeah.
The 2018 class, when Wade and them reclassed.
Mondo and
Mondo.
Yeah. But me and Ty saw it. In 2017, I said, Ty, this is too expensive. How do you do it? And he was like, man, we fundraise, we do whatever we can, the parents, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, I can't do this again. You be broke.
You paid your dues, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, you paid your dues.
Right. So,
and I don't think that people, and that's why I'm so glad you came here today, man. Just so many stories during that time, man, with Mario and Pinky and the whole River City Rain and LC Bird. But all you heard, the people that I came in contact was always positive.
Right.
Everybody,
for the most part, the dads were really, and the dads were like, I get a lot of dads come up to me and say, man, we proud of you, and you taught us how to be better men and better fathers. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the main reasons why I continued to do it, because I know a lot of the kids, parents work 2-3 jobs. Mm-hmm. Those kids didn't have an opportunity. I took care of Malik. I took care of JJ, straight up. If they call and need it, I'd be like, yo, wait, let me sell a car today then. I figure it out.
He did with the cars. And I forgot all about that.
That was it. I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to figure it out, and we always figured it out. And our kids ain't go without. And a lot of people, they always ask me, man, you lucky. It ain't luck. It's called, when you give blessings, you get them. And that's just it. So you ain't got to worry about when they coming. They coming.
They coming.
They coming.
They just coming. You gonna always be
always. I tell people all the time, I don't worry about nothing. I look at it now, and I look at all the kids that we have helped get to where they are at in life now. Man, it's a blessing.
You see all those kids, man. Like I said, And it was crazy when I first met Malik White, that Dennis, man.
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah.
That man was like, yo, man, I love your son, man. Hey, man, we're going to bring him over here to Rain. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Man, he was like, hey, and he vouched for you, man. It was just so much like, and me, I was like, damn, man, like, there's some real cats over here, man. But you so used to dealing with so much bullshit.
I just don't have it in me, because it's about the kid.
Yeah, it's right.
And I said, man, you can mess a kid life up, and you got some answers that you got to give then. Mm-hmm. So me personally, everything I did with the understanding of this gonna help this kid, become a better person in life. Because I know what it did for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, talk about, and like I said, I know we talked about, and like I said, you mentioned Rafa. I want you to kind of go into what Rafa meant to you, as far as y'all relationship.
Rafa, my guy. Rafa like a brother. We don't get a chance to talk as much as we used to. Mm-hmm. And he said he had a vision. I told him I was going to support it. Mm-hmm. We do that a lot in the community. We talk about this, we talk about that. I said, nah, I'm going to support it. Mm-hmm. I said, so, I do whatever I can. And then that was when they had recruited Lil Mario, because Pinkett was already over there. So it was funny because Lil Mario had Team Richmond had to play Stars, whatever.
Virginia Stars.
Virginia Stars.
Virginia Stars. They were purple.
And they were purple. And we was up in Fredericksburg, and we had to play them in a championship game. And man, we beat them bad. I was like, and Jay Wade, Lil Mario, all of them, and all of them was together. Team Richmond. So we walking out of the gym, and Pinkett said, "Pop, Lil Mario got to play with us next year." I said, "All right." And that was it. And then Rayford called me and said, "I want to start my own." And then I said, "All right." And then that was how it started, And I just supported them, And then, the opportunity presented itself with Reebok. And I tell people all the time, I'm going to talk about the good stuff that Iverson did. Because do you know how many lives that guy changed by giving them uniforms?
We saw them uniforms.
Right.
That's when we knew it
The
was
shoes?
real, like the shoes and everything. We were just for us, because it was Squires.
Yeah, it was Squires.
It was Squires.
Squires and Metro.
Because we was with Metro.
Yeah.
And we could never beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? We could never beat y'all.
Yeah. And once that light flicked on, I mean, and it was like, and the funny part about that was, Bubba team did it. It was like, we're going to do this because, your son on the team. And he was like, man, we just want to support wherever we can. And it won't like it was now.
Right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think we was the first team Reebok ever sponsored, and then it was Muggsy Bulls, if I'm not mistaken. Or Muggsy was the first and we was the second. Something like that. But Reebok gave them boys shoes, headbands.
Yep, we seen all of that stuff, man.
Bubba called me and said, "You good?" I said, "Good." I said, "Man, we better than good." I said, "Man, this cost a grip, and he didn't have to do that." And I tell people up until this point, like at a time he was transitioning, man, he ain't had to go out his way to help these boys, man.
And that's what I'm saying. It was so rare because you saw, because we was with Metro, then we saw, first of all, get to Tony Squires. Man, we'll come back. Talk before I forget. Tony Squires, what did he mean to you, man?
Man, Squires, coming up under Boo, I have so much respect for Metro and Squire. That's what I aim to achieve, and you gotta always talk about the ones that come before you, because without them, there's no you. And that was probably like a point where I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it all to getting these kids where they needed to be, because I heard it, then saw it, and seen Boo do it, but then come here, I'm like, Keldon? I was like, man, this
Keldon.
Yeah, I said, man, this is special.
When I saw Keldon.
Yeah, I said, this is special. So Squires and them, they laid the foundation. And so to me, that's why I give so much love to all the AAU organizations. But I give a lot of love to Ty White, because, you got to understand, this is a machine now.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, whether the parents like it, whether the community like it, whether who like it, it's a machine. And the machine got to run, and it's gonna run with or without you.
You ain't lying.
So I tell people all the time, support it. Support. I support it. If Titan was playing and we weren't playing, I'm there. All the kids, all of them. Rudy and them used to call me, "Rio, we getting on the road, we ain't got no money. I got $200 for you, come get it."
Yep, shout out to Rudy, man. Shout out to Rudy.
Yeah, so it was about helping the kids. It wasn't no hidden agenda. It was like, these kids got an opportunity to, let's go. We didn't have all that, man. So to me, it was like, just be sincere about it. A lot of people look at me and they be like, "Oh, he a gorilla looking dude, he from the street, he talk like," man, I love the kid.
Man, we see you out there, man. You come out there with your dressed up, man. You have on the hard bottoms and the slacks. And it's like we see you in so many different ways, man. But you always grinded and making sure that everything was straight. Yeah. When the big games was going on, like I said, the Iverson thing was just huge, man. Because for us, we didn't see that up here. We were just, everybody was fighting, trying to get a spot on a team somewhere because the talent was so good.
It was good.
I mean, you talking about with Team Richmond and everything.
Man, it was good.
Like I said, with Tim and Jordan was over there running things. And then, you know, and then now you say, okay, well, we got, you know, with Metro, and then you got, then like I said, when y'all started Reign, that was like, what the fuck? Like, who is Reign? Yeah. And y'all came in by storm and just took it over, man, for that period. Yeah. Then y'all worked. Loaded was already loaded.
Yeah, they were loaded.
Yeah,
they were loaded.
Like, I was like, man, he was like, we got to compete with Boo and Takeover, man. Like, you know. So for me during that time, I was just glad that I was around to be able to witness that time, because again, we were always looking to maybe. Some of our guys going up to Takeover, like
that's it.
Yeah, Takeover.
Yeah, Buck went to Takeover.
Went to Takeover. Mondo to Takeover, back and forth.
See, this is what I tell the community. You don't have to do that. You know, support what you got here and leave all the, you know, all of the negative stuff away from, because it's about the kids. Right. And see, that's what. And I told him. I said, once that happened, I got to go. Because I ain't about no fussing, arguing, cussing. I ain't doing none of that. Because it's about the kids. It's about the kids. Yep. You know, it's about getting, man, these scholarships now, man, what? Huh? Man, come on. And I tell the community all the time, what's the end game? What is the goal? The goal is to make sure these kids get a better opportunity at life. At life. I don't want no credit. I don't need none. I'm good.
You didn't, man. And that's why I was just like, bro, when I seen Troy, and after we did the Mario and Pinky podcast, man, a lot of people said, like, man, they was so respectful.
Well, they had no choice. Yeah, all the kids, they had no choice. I told them all. I told them, I tell the parents all the time, they gonna all of them respectful.
It was always, I was like, man, these some good kids, and people just hated on them so much. And when I had them in the studio, man, I felt like an old dude, man. I was sitting there, we was drinking and everything. It was like a rites of passage. It's like, boy, I've been waiting a long time for y'all, man. Come on, sit right here, man. Because we want to know because they was receiving so much hate, man. And
they was receiving hate, basically. And like I tell them, you know, and a lot of hate came to them because of me. Okay. And I tell them all the time, it's because I just have a strong personality. I'm not cocky. I'm not arrogant. I'm passionate. And that can be mistaken sometimes. And that's just it. But those same people are the ones that call me and ask me to help them. And I help them. I ain't turning my back on nobody. And I tell them all the time, that's just who I am. So at the end of the day, I told them, I'm going to be harder on y'all than anybody else, because y'all going to get it the worst because y'all my boys. So by y'all being my boys, y'all got a higher standard that y'all going to be held to. That's just it. So Lil Mario, he got it the worst. I felt really, Pinky, he didn't care about what you said.
Yeah, Pinky
from Jersey. You go to Jersey, they don't care what you say, and they still going to do what they do. Lil Mario, I kind of heard it for him because he gave everybody some of what all he could have had. So I tell anybody, we didn't have to do that. Lil Mario and Pinky had Boo and Ty. Ever since they was in the 8th grade, they had Boo and Ty. So we did not have to pour nothing into nobody else's. I could have been like every other parent, said, I'm going here. I'm going to save this $100,000 in my pocket. Nah. You know, Malik, JJ, you know, Jordan, Cross, Big John, Dillard. I saw a lot of stuff inside that other people didn't see. As a man, I wasn't going to walk away and leave them kids.
You didn't, man.
So that was the part that was hurtful to me, because I tell people all the time, we do a lot of talking outside the house. You got to know what's going on in the house. You see, so when we made that decision, we knew certain parents was going through certain things. So we said, okay, these some great kids, let's give them an opportunity, you know. You don't know, Jordan dad was sick too.
Wow, I didn't.
So stepping in and being able to assist with making sure these kids gonna get a better opportunity, man, I wouldn't change it for the world. Man, I tell people all the time, you can keep that $100,000. You can keep that, because one thing about it is, them kids gonna have a better opportunity in life. And I tell people all the time, look at how many scholarships we got.
It's a lot, bro.
Compared to $100,000, I tell them straight up and down. I know how Ty feel, boy. Listen, listen. If you don't like Ty, you need to like him. How many kids he done sent in? Huh?
Hey,
what?
Man,
bruh, listen.
That's a fact.
Listen,
that is a fact.
Listen. Look at how many kids
Talk that talk, man.
have come through John Marshall and now Petersburg. Not just those teams, the other kids that ain't played for John Marshall or Petersburg that done got scholarship. Man, look, add the money up.
Look, we had Kello Sim sitting right here, and he said, I ain't had nothing.
Yeah.
I called Ty, and he said, I thank Ty every day for what he did. He went to Highland Springs.
Yeah. And
I didn't even know that.
But see, this is the thing that I tell a lot of people. Me, Ty, Troy, Coach Herm, Blackwell, we had a catalog of coaches that we knew how to tag team. And if I called for a kid, if Jack called me,
okay,
or what's my man name? They would call me for, Rio, I need some help getting this kid in. They didn't know what I was doing. I would call Ty.
Okay.
Be like, Ty, I need a school. All right, let me figure something out. See, a lot of people didn't know, but we used it for the kids. It wasn't for, because like I tell anybody, I know, gang, if I wanted to be on anybody D1 staff, I could have been up there if I wanted to. But after I left St. Paul, I said, no, I saw where the game was going. It's going to be about money.
Yes.
It's going to be about money. So I tell people all the time, you look at anybody that I just named, they could have easily been on a D1 staff. It was about them. You see how many coaches that we talk to a day? Man, I'm telling you, man, it was pandemonium. And I tell people all the time, it was just about the kids. But now you can see the proof is in the pudding now. Because I ain't at UNC. I could have brokered a deal. Tommy, you can't get my boy unless you get me on that Duke staff.
Right.
I could have brokered a deal. No, man, it was about them kids. So I tell people all the time, be careful what you say, because sometimes it'll come back and bite you.
That is true.
That's facts.
Going to Star and E, man. And
Star and E is family. Lil Mario and Taj is like brother and sister. They always been like that. So that has always been a family that we always communicated with. And then my wife and Star went to high school together.
Okay.
So we all knew each other. And then, if we needed anything with Star, my wife would call. If they needed something, they would call. So a lot of people don't know the relationships. And it's not for you to know, but you got to be careful, because we all are working out here behind the scenes to try to help get these kids a better opportunity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
all those connections.
All the connections. And if we could utilize them in a more powerful way, man, we could really make a major impact for a lot more kids. And see, that's what it's about. Man, I was in Atlanta for 2 years with Lil Mario working out up there for the G League.
Yep, I remember.
Listen, man.
We talked about that.
It's different, man. It's different. They putting in work. We behind. They putting in work. I'm gonna call it what it is. We behind. I'm talking about morning, noon, and night. Them kids in them gyms. So we got to get back to that so that we can start elevating these kids, getting them off these phones, getting them out these streets, getting them off this marijuana. Listen, we got to put more time in these kids right now. That calls for more activities, more recreational centers, more things these kids could go to. Because I'm going to tell you, go up, let me share something with you. I ain't never seen nothing like it. I'm telling you, kids in there morning, noon, and night before they go to class.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the type type of attention that is being given, it's big money. This is a multi-billion-dollar machine. Sports is a multi-billion-dollar machine, and in order for our kid, man, we was on pace. If we could have stuck together, stopped hurting each other, stopped talking about each other, making it about the kids, putting more back into it. I told him I did my part for y'all.
You did.
You can't say I ain't do it. I ain't do it. I did my part. And when I saw Ty moving along, I said, you got to go. I said, you got to go. I said, because at the end of the day, they got to understand what and why. The city's supposed to give him his own gym.
And you seeing what's, I guess.
The city should have gave him his own gym. That's a multi-billion-dollar business. The city's supposed to give him his own gym. Come, you got one of the top AAU organizations in the country. Man, listen.
We can make the same argument with Squires too, Tony Squires.
Squires should have got one.
Yeah.
Squires should have got one because, you know, like I tell, I don't get into politics.
Right.
But I tell people all the time, that's how you pour money back into your communities.
Bingo.
That's how you attract those professional athletes. So now you looking at, see, watch this. See, AAU used to be about everybody being in the, now the pros in the game, AAU.
Yep, right.
So now Ty got a gym in Richmond, the pros come into Richmond.
Here, thank you.
That's money, that's revenue. That now we can give more back to build these community centers to help these kids get a better opportunity. Like I told them, man, listen, when I had the Boys and Girls, 910 South Harrison Street, I tell people all the time, I let anybody come in free.
Yep, you did.
Didn't charge nothing, won't gonna charge. That was it. You wanted to work out, go ahead. You know, Coach Hearn or Rudy will be up there, y'all good. To me, that was trying to tell people, let's come together, let's work together. You know, Jack them used to go in there. I used to be like, man, I don't care.
Jack, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck them used to go in there. I used to be like, man, I don't care. Now, we all got different AAU organizations. What's wrong?
What time does this end?
In about 10 minutes, you good. So everybody had different organizations. And they all was in there. So we all had to have a good relationship.
Yep.
You know, so that was the funnier part. We all was working together.
Right.
And trying to achieve a common goal. Because I think one year, we did bring Jack and Chuck them over.
Yep.
Because we went and got all their kids' shoes. I went and got all their kids'
Right.
shoes. So I did. And I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, I said,
And,
I had to bring in Chuck. I forgot all Chuck.
Because Marcus was on that team.
Yep.
Lil Marcus. And that my boy there.
Oh,
that my boy there.
I'm saying, it's a lot of names, man.
So I never forget how we got Marcus. So Marcus was in the 9th grade. And he was a knucklehead. He was a knucklehead. So Chuck had brought him to the game, and Marcus had got in some trouble, man. And I had on some Nike flip-flops, right? So I said, man, what is it going to take to keep you out of trouble? Give me them Nike flip-flop. I gave them to him off my feet. From that point forward, man, I don't think Marcus got in trouble. He used to get in trouble, but not like that no more.
Wow.
And I told Chuck, I said, listen, man, anytime you need something, let me know.
Okay.
Right now, that's my boy. That's my boy. He called me, check on me. How you doing, Coach? Him and Malik. They call me, check on me. And I tell people, that's a powerful impact that you have on a child's life. Just a $20 pair of Nike flip-flops, something that him and his family couldn't afford at the time, just gave them to him. Now that kid, he very successful young man.
Yep, yeah.
Very successful.
He did, man.
And I'm telling you, they threw him to the wolves. And Kimmy was like, Rio, we could save him. And I never forget, we saved him. And now look at him, got his degree.
Yep.
So those are the things, the impact that sometimes these things do that you don't know the outcome. Only God knows the outcome. So put an effort in. You know, so that's basically it, bro. I appreciate it.
No. And now we can go right into the program where you at now, man. Talk about the Maya Foundation.
But the Maya Foundation is a nonprofit organization where, I sponsor kids, help kids, inner city kids be given the opportunity that they wouldn't normally get because of those same circumstances. I mentor, I think, like 2 kids right now, making sure they they're getting back and forth to school, back and forth to work, doing good, got good GPAs. So those are some of the things that I'm doing now. Lil Mario is actually Gifted by the Man Music and Film is something that he started. And what I did was support it. I said, you can support everybody else. Yeah, I said, you can support everybody else with everything they do. Now put that money in there. And
He killing it, man. Shout out to Rio.
Yeah,
man.
I had a guy from Atlanta call me yesterday, and we do a lot of executive producing movies. And he sent me a pitch. I said, I ain't doing no more pitches unless it's on Spike. I said, listen, his journey to Harvard was incredible. I said, so we're going to do that one first. He said, oh, yeah, we'll do that one. And he didn't know that he's in Atlanta in his first film, acting in his first film.
Man.
So we executive produced 3, Friend Zone.
Okay.
That's on All Black now. So if you go on All Black Network, Friend Zone, we executive produced that.
Man, shout out to you guys, man.
And,
Congrats to that, man.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Like, you know, I was telling Malik doing this first annual Malik White basketball camp this year.
Okay, we got to support that, man. Shout out to him.
And I just told him that we were going to do that because it's time for him to establish his platform now, you know. And, you know, he got a great supporting cast, Cooley, who he played for at Providence. Okay. They're going to support him and everything. So I tell people that's what I want to do here. I want to give these kids an opportunity to get inside the, you know, All Black is a major network where they cut your checks. Okay. You know, you ain't got to wait for your stuff to get played to get paid.
Right.
Now, give me mine up front, bro. You know, so those are some of the things that we're starting to, you know, bark into now. And we were able to get all of his music on the films. I brokered that deal. I said, listen, want me to executive produce? You got to put, they was like, that ain't no problem. I was able to get another guy named D Folks, got his music. That's my man, got his music in the one to film, so he's in it. Okay. And that's what I want to do to start getting that exposure with, you know, with the home team.
Okay.
You know, giving it an opportunity, and that's just what I'm doing. Like I'm gonna have about 10 film under my belt by the end of this year.
Bro, man, you always be working behind the scenes, man. You just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you just come out there, man.
Yeah. And them checks good.
Hey, man. Hey,
listen, them checks good. And I tell people all the time, man, I'm in the wrong business.
So you thought about that long time ago?
Man, I thought about that long. I did me about 20 movies by now. They call me Tyler Urey. Not Tyler Perry, Tyler Urey. Yeah. So and those are some of the things that, you know, Lil Mario is starting to do now. He's a grant writer for the nonprofit. I'm telling you, super. You know how some parents are. My kid,
No, we
I tell people all the time, if bro, go play golf or something. You can't play basketball. Go do something else. Very talented kid, man. Like I say, it's a matter of time, because the people that's trying to get their hands on them now, you know, like I tell them, let him get a chance to live. He's still a young man, you know. I don't want him to have pressure. I want him to be able to, you know, go out here and do the things he want to do as a young man. Mm-hmm. And then he can get into his actual profession. So he's in his first movie today, and that was something that he wanted to do. And I was like, man, go for it. You know, you love music, that's your passion. You know, you might be Nick Denzel Washington, bro, you know. So
you never know.
Yeah, man, you never know. Yeah, I pick up sometime. He be at Harvard. I'd be like, what you doing at Harvard? Oh, we just came up here for a business meeting. I'd be like, well, invite me next time.
All right, what's this? You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, invite me next time. But nah, they doing good though. I love, you know, the blessing about him going to Harvard was the people that he surrounded himself
That's
with.
what I'm saying.
Like I'm talking about his one of his best friends is a open heart surgeon, a doctor, or something like that. PK is listen, a very intelligent, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I tell people all the time, love black college, Lord, boy, St. Paul's, boy, Norfolk State, Hampton, Lord.
Say it.
Man, I love black college. Love it. I tell people that's embedded in me. And that's why I told her, you're going to get the best of both worlds.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to Harvard, and then you're going to get your master's from Hampton. You're going to get the best of both worlds, and I want you to make that decision for yourself. I want you to see both sides, and then you go and put your caveat on. And that's what he's doing now. Hold on, champ, sit down. Yeah, come on now. So that's what he's doing now. So, and he
Why can't we have both?
We can.
That's what I'm telling people.
You can.
They want us to just have
Yeah,
one. I'm
you
like,
can.
why can't I benefit from
Yeah,
both?
you can. And see, that's the thing. See, I tell people all the time, have a plan. Sit up, champ. Sit up. We about to go. All right. Come right here. Sit right here. So we can. We got to educate the kids on that, and that's our thing. We don't educate them. And sometimes I tell parents all the time. Sometimes you got to make that decision for your child.
Right. Thank you. You can't let your child.
Because a lot of people, those days are long gone. I'm gonna let my child make the decision for themselves. Because I don't listen here. If you know better, then that's a decision you got to make
for 'em.
And then you got to eat it, and you got to make the best out of it.
Right.
Because see, one thing about coming up, you know, and you know, my grandma used to tell me, you know, ain't no bad decision. It's about what you make it. Mm-hmm. You know, and we got to get back to that. And like I tell my son, nah, you know, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, you going to Harvard? How we gonna pay for it? We gotta pay for what? No, that's a scholarship. That ain't no scholarship. I said, yeah, it is. We got to the door. They said, no, it ain't. I said, well, I can't afford it. They said, well, that's on you. And we made it work. And I told them, I said, we're gonna ride this thing. But I'm gonna share this story, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
He did not want to go to Harvard. Yeah.
Are you serious?
His sophomore year, me and him stood in the middle of the airport arguing. Because he was like, man, we can't afford this. I'm gonna leave, go to Virginia Tech now. I said, no, you're not. We're gonna see this through, bro. I said, when you get to California, I'll be right there. Before he got to California, I was there.
Wow.
And he was like, oh, you gonna ride? I said, I'm gonna ride this till the wheels fall off, but we gonna finish this. And he was able to make it through, you know, by the grace of God, family support, you know, real. I tell people like that, I don't know about y'all family, but I got some good family. Some good family, because I was like, hey, 35,000. Like, where you get this from?
Right.
I took it out my 401k. He gonna finish that. That's my grandson. I was like, okay.
Hey,
Yeah. And see, a lot of people don't know the struggles we had to go through, you know. And we went through, you know, a struggle, but the family supported and we made it through.
Y'all still made tech. It
Man.
don't even look like y'all even went through it.
No, it don't even look like. And I tell people like this, we really didn't, you know, because God had a plan the whole time, you know, and my family, his mom family, they stepped up. Real talk. I'm talking about, I don't know about no other black family, but these are different black families. Because they were throwing out 35, retirement. I don't know. Put that back in the retirement.
Right.
Nah, don't worry about it. This is an opportunity, a lifetime for an African-American kid. He going to Harvard. I said, well, okay, shoot, one of his grandmas was putting up the house.
See, what we always say, it takes a village, right?
Yeah, a village to raise a child. His grandma was putting up the house. They called me in there and they was like, we ain't trying to get in your business, but he gone. And I said, I'm gonna make it work. And they was like, well, let me know, 'cause I'll put the house up.
But see how in our communities, how we don't have this stuff and how we just take and pour it into the say, man, you got to go.
You got to.
Because this is us that as black
Now,
men, we don't get this.
Now watch this. This was the craziest part. And I'm gonna end on this.
Okay.
He had more family support at his game than probably any other kid on Harvard team. Not just one game, not just two games, because we ain't miss a game. Aunts, uncles, cousins, great uncle, great aunts, little boo-boo, little baby, all on with them. All on with I was like, what in the world? Everybody support. And Lil Mario was the family, like all the kids in the family looked up to him. All the kids. So he set the bar high and you know, and he ain't let them down. You know, he ain't let them down. You know, so that was one of the things that I really applauded about that opportunity because it brought the families, not just my family, but her family. Man, we was thick. I'm talking about thick. I was like, wow. Like they support, I'm talking about flying to Harvard, driving to Harvard, driving to Cornell, driving to Penn. Man, wherever he was, he would come out the locker room with man, you probably thought, well, we was
People look like,
yeah, I was like
what's
yeah,
going on here?
yeah. And we was up in what was we at? We was up in one of them schools, Vermont. Kids came out the locker room and said, Rio, what you do? I said, what you mean? I said, I work like anybody else. He said, nah, you at every game. I said, I let that boy there. Tuesday night I was there. Drove to Vermont on Sunday. Left Sunday. We left Sunday. Got there Monday, went to the game, got back here by Thursday, drove back. Yeah. So, and that's why, I tell people all the time, let's not judge people. Let's always support them and pick people up. I've been doing this all my life, man. So this ain't nothing new. I got more kids in college other than Boo and Ty than probably anybody in Squire and Metro and probably anybody else. Because if a high school coach called me and said, Rio, I need to get a kid in school, oh, all right, I got on the road. I ain't even call a coach. I would get on the road, go to that coach and be like, take this kid. I owe you one. That's how Dilla got in John C. Smith. They wouldn't take him. I got on the road. I said, Uncle Steve, I need you to take Dilla. We ain't got no school. I said, I need you to take Dilla. He was like, all right, I'm going to take him. He took him. Dilla transferred to Shawan after that. Had a very successful career. But yeah, Dilla ain't had nowhere to go. I got on that road Tuesday morning, got to Charlotte by about 4 o'clock. Mark Sherrill and Uncle Steve was in the gym. I said, you got to take him. And he was like, Rio, we don't have no. I said, you going to take him. Before I left, they took him. Make a long story short, that's how Dilla got in college.
And that rounded out that.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah. That was it. He was the last one. Cam had it, Pinky had it, Giles had it, Lil Mario had it, and Dilla didn't have it. And Dilla's dad called me, and I never forget. I told my wife, I said, I got to go to Charlotte. She said, for what? I said, I got to get Dilla in school. I said, I can't talk to Uncle Steve over the phone. I got to see him face to face. When I got there, he said, I can't take him, man. I ain't got no room. Before I left, he took him. And Dilla was at Johnson Smith. Yeah, that was the last of the Mohican. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, man, we thank you, man, for this, man. And like I said, when you called me, it was like after I had Rio and Pete.
I appreciated that. Yeah.
Because we talked on the phone for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
With the kids, and then when I did that, and you called me, he's like, man, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And he was like, I gotta give you the behind the scenes because people, and when I saw, and it was crazy, I was up at St. James.
Yeah.
I seen Troy and Chris. They was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Because it was so much of stuff like Troy this and Big Rio this and Ty this and they had this. It was so much, and
we always tight,
bro. You go back to that joint. I had 3 pages sitting right there. I'm like, all right, I need to know this. I got to get somebody in here because those guys was always together, and I just thanked them, man, and just appreciate and the respect that we got for each other.
And they loved everybody. They ain't hate on nobody.
They didn't.
They supported every player in Richmond.
They did. They was always at everybody's game.
Always. Yeah, they loved them all. And the thing about the kids got along better than the adults.
They did. Right. You ain't never see no issues.
None.
Always. There was a Benedictine. There was always at our games at Trinity.
None.
There was always at Verona. Franco.
Yeah.
Everywhere, man. So
very supportive of each other.
And I just want to say thank you. I know you led that charge, man. Bro, appreciate you, man.
No question.
You so much,
no
man.
question. Always love what y'all doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and continue to bring light to what we're doing. Because, like I tell people, this is about the kids, man. And we can't stop because when we do stop, hey man, it's hard to start that train up again. So while it's running, let it run.
Yes, sir.
Because once you break now, it's hard to get that locomotive back running again.
It is.
It's hard.
It take a lot.
Yeah, it take a lot. Yeah, so I appreciate it, bro.
But thank you, man. We gonna say on this one, we are out, y'all. Peace.
Love y'all.
I appreciate y'all watching the episode again today, y'all. Go over, make sure that y'all check out my man, rickstockel.com for any of your home buying needs. Appreciate it. Thanks again.